Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Austin Hilton. Along with me is Zach Humphreys. How are you doing here, Zach?
Good, brother. How's everybody else doing out there? Hopefully fantastic. What's going on, man?
So, hey, this is a video that I've been wanting to make, and I was like, I wanted to make it with you because I know you when you first got started in crypto, I think you had somewhat of a plan, and maybe you didn't, and I want to talk about that. But so that's what this video is about. It's how to easily get started in crypto, and so I know there's a lot of different ways, and the last time I looked, there was over 20,000 plus crypto projects out there, which is just like just crazy. So Zach, how did you get started? How did you kind of get your feet wet in crypto?
Yeah, I want to hear your story too after this for sure. With all your experience coming from the stock market side of things. I mean, it was a few years ago for me when I started really getting interested in it. And I spent a lot of time like just researching before I even invested. I watched a ton of YouTube, which everybody's watching right now. Found some great content creators and really a select few that I watched a lot of, took notes. The other thing, I had a whole notebook I remember filled up with just notes. And so I started to plan a little bit. I didn't have like an exact pie chart and I want to make this percentage of my portfolio, not yet at least. But I remember listening to a lot of Raoul Paul and Mark Cuban and these really influential figures and people talk about where they thought crypto was going, where they thought blockchain technology was going. So I remember when I was trying to be an entrepreneur, I was trying to get my feet wet, and I had a couple businesses going. I said, well, maybe this crypto thing, could help me get there as well, because I kept hearing this is the next thing, right? 20 years ago, it was the internet. 20 years ago, it was if you invested early, right, in the internet, in the .com era, which I know you did, Austin. I mean, you guys had a company yourself. A lot of people just crushed it during those times. So obviously, I was a little bit too young to really hit on that fully. So I said, all right, this is my opportunity. Like, what's the next internet? What's the next big thing?
Yeah.
And the more I watched, the more I learned, the more I started getting convinced that it was crypto.
Yeah.
And then I, in terms of my investing at the forefront, I just started with the top cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
And really, I started more with Ethereum before Bitcoin. I had done so much research into how far Bitcoin had already come. And I saw that, Ethereum, while it was, second fiddle, if you will, to Bitcoin, there was probably more room for it to grow over the next 5 to 10 years. So I started there, and then obviously had some really good trades in the last 2 years with some smaller caps. And what I did was I took a lot of those profits and put them back into blue chip assets like Bitcoin, like Cardano, like Ethereum. Those are my top three really right there.
Right.
And, so yeah, man, I mean, long story short, that's basically how I got my start. And then every day you just keep learning a little bit more, man. You keep learning a little bit more, talking to other people that have different perspectives and different knowledge. And then once you're in it every day, like we are now, man, it's like we're reading something, learning something every day,
Yeah. Yeah.
How about for you?
I actually very similar. It's so funny. You and I have been working together and talking for a long time. I've actually it's funny. I've never had this conversation with you. So, I had a very similar experience. I've owned a lot of different ones over the years, and I tend to be a buy and hold guy. My 30 plus years of stock investing experience, I brought that to crypto. So, and that's another video for another time. But what really scared me in crypto when I first was looking at it was how many there were. And I didn't know really where to start. And so I did the exact same thing. I just started watching a lot of YouTube content and started really trying to understand, always with the mindset though, of looking at, similar to you. I was like, look, crypto is just too big of a thing. And I'm not an overly technical person. So I didn't get into, I didn't look at Ethereum and say, I want to understand the technical aspects in blockchain. And I didn't, because what I knew that if I did that, Zach, it was going to be even more daunting to me. So I looked at like Bitcoin and Ethereum and at that time and went, okay, these are the two biggest blue chip. Again, it's kind of that stock mentality. I'm going to buy those to start with. And I'm going to, again, bring that knowledge, which I know you do as well, from a diversification standpoint, and how. So my how to get started easily model was I'm going to buy the biggest ones. I'm not going to push all my chips in. I'm just going to kind of get my feet wet. I'm going to start small. I'm going to buy some Bitcoin, buy some Ethereum. I wish I still owned all the Bitcoin I bought way back then because I sold it. You know, it's all everybody's got those stories, right?
Yeah,
At least I'm not the guy who bought 10 pizzas with the Bitcoin and, you know, that famous story. But yeah, I started there, and I just looked at Bitcoin because I likened to Bitcoin, Zach, and I think you do as well, to digital gold. It's a limited asset. And then I looked at Ethereum, and I'm like, well, literally, I oversimplified Ethereum in my mind. I'm like, okay, Ethereum is the blockchain that everything else is built on. I'm going to own that, and that was before I really understood it. And that was literally my mindset. And then I bought some other ones like Cardano. But yeah, that's how I got started. And, you know, I bought them on a centralized exchange and, you know, and just got started that way and have done fairly well. I've made some mistakes. We all have. But then after that, and I'll end on this note, once I had kind of that diversification strategy, then I started looking for, okay, let's look at some other, maybe more speculative stuff. I didn't come into it in the community token era, you know, which I know a lot of people come in now. So yeah, that's how I got in there. And I'm definitely not, I mean, I love community tokens, but I brought that diversification strategy. So final thoughts before we wrap up. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I would just say, you know, how to easily get started. Research first, you know, listen to a lot of people who've been in it, you know, for a while, and start slow. Pick 2 to 3 cryptos that you want to just invest in. It's funny too. Once you put a little bit, it doesn't have to be a lot. Once you put a little bit of money into something, all of a sudden now you want to learn more about it.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden you're like, oh, well, I have, even if it's $100, let's say, into Bitcoin. Well, I better learn something about it now if I'm invested in it, if I have my money in it. And slowly but surely over time, you're going to learn. I mean, the good thing is, guys and gals, you guys are early.
Absolutely.
We're all very, very early still. So there's time. And, you know, there's a lot of great years, I think, ahead for crypto. So yeah, that's what I've got, Austin.
All right, cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video watching. And so if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button below. Subscribe here to the ClearCryptos channel. Zach and I both have our own respective YouTube channels as well. We make content on our own channels, and we love what Clear was doing. And so we wanted to throw our hats in the ring and support this channel from an educational content standpoint. And that's what I love about what Clear is doing. So if you want to get more involved with them, again, subscribe to the channel below. There's links in the description below to their Discord, which I would recommend 100,000,000% you go get involved over there. Great, well-run Discord, extremely positive community. You can ask questions. There's fantastic moderators over there. And they have a great Twitter page as well. So I'm going to take us out with that. So enjoy the video. If you haven't already done so, like and subscribe below, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.